a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Sean Combs. Sean John Combs, also known by his stage names Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, Diddy, Brother Love, and Love, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, actor, record producer, and entrepreneur. He was born in Harlem and was raised in Mount Vernon, New York. He worked as a talent director at Uptown Records before founding his label Bad Boy Entertainment in 1993. His debut album No Way Out has been certified 7 times platinum and was followed by successful albums such as Forever, The Saga Continues, and Press Play. In 2009, Combs formed the musical group Diddy Dirty Money and released the critically well-reviewed and commercially successful album Last Train to Paris. Combs has won 3 Grammy Awards and 2 MTV Video Music Awards, and is the producer of MTV's Making the Band. In 2017, Forbes estimated his net worth at $820 million, making him the richest hip-hop artist in the U.S. Early life. Sean John Combs was born on November 4, 1969 in Harlem in Manhattan, New York City, and was raised in Mount Vernon, New York. His mother, Janice, was a model and teacher's assistant, and his father, Melvin Earl Combs, served in the U.S. Air Force and was an associate of convicted New York drug dealer Frank Lucas. At age 33, Melvin was shot to death while sitting in his car on Central Park West, when Combs was 2 years old. Combs graduated from the Roman Catholic Mount St. Michael Academy in 1987. He played football for the academy, and his team won a division title in 1986. Combs said that he was given the nickname Puff as a child because he would huff and puff when he was angry. Combs was a business major at Howard University, but left after his sophomore year. In 2014, he returned to Howard University to receive an honorary doctorate in humanities and deliver the university's 146th commencement address. 1996, career beginnings. Combs became an intern at New York's Uptown Records. While talent director at Uptown, he helped develop Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. In his college days, Combs had a reputation for throwing parties, some of which attracted up to 1,000 participants. In 1991, Combs promoted an AIDS fundraiser with Heavy D held at the City College of New York Gymnasium, following a charity basketball game. The event was oversold, and a stampede occurred in which 9 people died. In 1993, after being fired from Uptown, Combs established his new label Bad Boy Entertainment as a joint venture with Arista Records, taking then-newcomer The Notorious B.I.G. with him. Both The Notorious B.I.G. and Craig Mack quickly released hit singles, followed by successful LPs, particularly Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. Combs signed more acts to Bad Boy, including Carl Thomas, Faith Evans, 112, Total, and Father MC. The Hitmen, his in-house production team, worked with Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Usher, Lil' Kim, TLC, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, SWV, Aretha Franklin, and others. Mace and the Lox joined Bad Boy just as a widely publicized rivalry with the West Coast's Death Row Records was beginning. Combs and Notorious B.I.G. were criticized and parodied by Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight in songs and interviews during the mid-1990s. During 1994, 1995, Combs produced several songs for TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool, which finished the decade as number 25 on Billboard's list of top pop albums of the decade. 1997-98, Puff Daddy, and No Way Out. In 1997, under the name Puff Daddy, Combs recorded his first commercial vocal work as a rapper. His debut single, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, spent 28 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, peaking at number 1. His debut album, No Way Out, was released on July 1, 1997, through Bad Boy Records. Originally titled Hell Up in Harlem, the album underwent several changes after the Notorious B.I.G. was killed on March 9, 1997. Several of the label's artists made guest appearances on the album. No Way Out was a significant success, particularly in the United States. where it reached #1 on the Billboard 200 in its first week of release, selling 561,000 copies. The album produced 5 singles. I'll Be Missing You, a tribute to the Notorious B.I.G., was the first trap song to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It remained at the top of the chart for 11 consecutive weeks and topped several other charts worldwide. 4 other singles, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, It's All About the Benjamins, Been Around the World, and Victory, were also released. Combs collaborated with Jimmy Page on the song Come With Me for the 1998 film Godzilla. The album earned Combs 5 nominations at the 40th Grammy Awards in 1998, winning the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album. On September 7, 2000, the album was certified septuple platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for sales of over 7 million copies. In 1997, Combs was sued for landlord neglect by Inch Bongo. Combs denied the charges. By the late 1990s, he was being criticized for watering down and overly commercializing hip-hop, and for using too many guest appearances, samples, and interpolations of past hits in his new songs. 199, 200, Forever and Club New York. In April 1999, Combs was charged with assault as a result of an incident with Steve Stout of Interscope Records. Stout was the manager for Nas, with whom Combs had filmed a video earlier that year for the song Hate Me Now. Combs was concerned that the video, which featured a shot of Nas and Combs being crucified, was blasphemous. He asked for his scenes on the cross to be pulled, but after it aired unedited on MTV on April 15, Combs visited Stout's offices and injured Stout. Combs was charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief, and was sentenced to attend a one-day anger management class. Forever, Combs' debut solo studio album, was released by Bad Boy Records on August 24, 1999. In North America, and in the UK on the following day. It reached #2 on the Billboard 200 and #1 on the top R&B/hip-hop albums chart, where it remained for 1 week before being knocked off by Mary J. Blige's 4th album, Mary. The album received positive to mixed reviews from music critics and spawned 3 singles that have charted on the Billboard charts. It peaked at #4 on the Canadian Albums chart, Combs' highest charting album in that country. On December 27, 1999, Combs and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were at Club New York in Manhattan when gunfire broke out. After a police investigation, Combs and fellow rapper Shyne were arrested for weapons violations and other charges. Combs was charged with 4 weapons-related charges and bribing his driver, Wardell Fenderson, to claim ownership of his gun. With a gag order in place, the highly publicized trial began. Combs' attorneys were Johnny L. Cochran Jr. and Benjamin Braffman. Combs was found not guilty on all charges. Shyne was convicted on 5 of his 8 charges and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Combs and Lopez broke up shortly after. A lawsuit filed by Fenderson, who said he suffered emotional damage after the shooting, was settled in February 2004. Lawyers for both sides, having agreed to keep the settlement terms secret, said that the matter was resolved to the satisfaction of all parties. 2001-04, P. Diddy, and the Saga Continues. Combs changed his stage name from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy in 2001. The gospel album, Thank You, which had been completed just before the beginning of the weapons trial, was released that March. He appeared as a drug dealer in the film Made, and starred with Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton in Monsters Ball. He was arrested for driving on a suspended license in Florida. Combs began working with a series of unusual artists. For a short period of time, he was the manager of Khalees. They have a collaboration titled, Let's Get Ill. He was an opening act for NSYNC on their spring 2002 celebrity tour, and he signed California-based pop girl group Dream to his record label. Combs was a producer of the soundtrack album for the film Training Day. In June 2001, Combs ended Bad Boy Entertainment's joint venture with Arista Records, gaining full control of Bad Boy, its catalog, and its roster of artists. The Saga Continues, released on July 10 in North America, was the last studio album released by the joint venture. The album reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 and the top R&B/hip-hop albums charts, and was eventually certified platinum. It is the only studio album under the P. Diddy name, and the first album by Sean Combs not to feature any guest appearances by Jay-Z or Lil' Kim. Combs was executive producer of the reality TV show Making the Band, which appeared on MTV from 2002 to 2009. The show involved interviewing candidates and creating musical acts that would then enter the music business. Acts that got their start this way include Da Band, Danity Kane, Day 26, and Donnie Klang. In 2003, Combs ran in the New York City Marathon, raising $2 million for the educational system of the city of New York. On March 10, 2004, he appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show to discuss the marathon, which he finished in 4 hours and 18 minutes. In 2004, Combs headed the campaign, Vote or Die, for the 2004 presidential election. On February 1, 2004, Combs performed at the Super Bowl 38 halftime show. 2005-09, Diddy, and Press Play. On August 16, 2005, Combs announced on Today that he was altering his stage name yet again. He would be calling himself Diddy. Combs said that fans didn't know how to address him, which led to confusion. In November 2005, London-based musical artist and DJ Richard Dearlove, who had been performing under the name Diddy since 1992, 9 years before Combs started using even P. Diddy, sought an injunction in the High Court of Justice in London. He accepted an out-of-court settlement of £10,000 in damages and more than £100,000 in costs. Combs can no longer use the name Diddy in the UK, where he is still known as P. Diddy. An assault charge against Combs filed by Michigan television host Rogelio Mills was resolved in Combs' favor in 2005. Combs starred in the 2005 film Kalitos Way, Rise to Power. He played Walter Lee Younger in the 2004 Broadway revival of A Raisin in the Sun and the television adaptation that aired in February 2008. In 2005, Combs sold half of his record company to the Warner Music Group. He hosted the 2005 MTV Video Music Awards and was named one of the 100 most influential people of 2005 by Time magazine. He was mentioned in the country song, Play Something Country, by Brooks and Dunn. The lyricist says he didn't come to hear P. Diddy, which is rhymed with something thumpin' from the city. In 2006, when Combs refused to release musician Mace from his contractual obligations to allow him to join the Group G Unit, 50 Cent recorded a diss song, Hip Hop. The lyrics imply that Combs knew the identity of the Notorious B.I.G.'s murderer. The two later resolved the feud. Combs released his first album in 4 years, Press Play, on October 17, 2006, on the Bad Boy Records label. The album, featuring guest appearances by many popular artists, debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 chart with sales of over 173,009. Its singles, Come to Me, and Last Night, both reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. The album became available to preview on MTV's The Leak on October 10, 2006, a week before being sold in stores. Press Play received mixed to positive reviews from critics, and was certified gold on the RIAA ratings. On September 18, 2007, Combs teamed up with 50 Cent and Jay-Z for the Forbes I Get Money $1 Billion remix. In March 2008, the Los Angeles Times claimed that the Notorious B.I.G. and Combs orchestrated the 1994 robbery and shooting of Tupac, substantiating the claim with supposed FBI documents. The newspaper later retracted the story, acknowledging that the documents had been fabricated. Dexter Isaac, an associate of record management executive Jimmy Henchman, confessed in 2012 that he shot Tupac on Henchman's orders. In June 2008, Combs' representative denied rumors of another name change. Combs ventured into reality television in August 2008, with the premiere of his VH1 series I Want to Work for Diddy. After the season finale of Making the Band 4, Combs said he would be heading back into the studio to record his next album. In an interview with the Daily Mail, he said, "I had Christina Aguilera on my last album, but it's all about Leona Lewis on my next." He appeared credited under his real name, in 2 episodes of Season 7 of CSI, Miami, Presumed Guilty, and Sink or Swim, in the role of lawyer Derek Powell. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?